Today we're going to talk about the best advice I ever got that's helped me in business more so than anything else I've ever been told. Hey, it's Don. We're just going to bare bones it here. Literally, we're going to talk about the best advice I was ever given. And it's very simple, but there's more to it than you would think. Now, I had a good boss once, a very good boss, one of probably the best people I've ever worked for in my life, named Lou. He's somebody I've talked about. There's actually a video up here somewhere just on this Lou that was my best boss. I had taken over a region for this guy, and I was, over my head trying to figure everything out. I was struggling trying to get sales going, and I just wasn't centered in on what to do or how to fix the issue. And the biggest advice he could tell me was know more than the other guy. I know that sounds really simple, just knowing more than the other guy, but that's the basics of it. Like for sales or pushing sales or figuring this out or figuring that out, the whole idea is to learn every aspect of the business you are in. Now, most everybody that I competed against, other stores specifically, they didn't really know all of their business. They were good at this or they were good at that. I even used to eat in the other restaurants to see how their service was, how the food was, if they were advertising, and all of that sort of thing. They never came in my restaurant or any of the other restaurants that I can think of, but I tried to figure it out from not just my angle, but from his angle. I tried to know both sides, my store, his store, and even other stores, something the other managers weren't doing. And from there, I figured out what was working, and I pretty much copied what they were doing. Increased my sales and the whole works. When I was having issues with inventory issues, my inventory is off, I was losing some out of my bonus, wasn't making as much money as I could, I dug into it. I figured out every little stop, every little aspect of what my employees were doing with inventory, where it was going, how it came in, marking it in, everything you could do, all the weights we required. And I knew more than them on those topics. So it turns out they weren't weighing them out, or they were wasting product and leaving it sitting, or doing all sorts of things like pre-cooking and things like that when I was in the restaurant. So again, it came down to me figuring out more than they knew. When you come into anywhere, you're not going to know everything. But as you go along with your business, your goal, your number one goal should always be to know more than everybody else. And if you've got employees, you want to know more than them. If you've got competitors, you want to know more than them. If you've got a business person, such as like with eBay, you're dealing with eBay, you need to know everything that they know, plus everything that you know to be successful. You can't just come on there, ignore all the aspects of what eBay can or can't do, and only worry about your own little stake in this business of yours. You've got to know both sides. You've got to know not just their side, but everything you can about your side. That's how to do your inventory, how to get the items, how to list them the best way possible. And with listing them the best way possible, that means looking at your competitors, seeing who is selling the exact same things that you are, and know what they know. Not just what they know, but what their competitors, which would be your competitors as well, are doing. Figure out which one of those has the key to getting their business going, and that's where you're going to learn how to do stuff. So you'll know all the other aspects of how they're doing their business, those folks that you physically compete against. You want to cover more knowledge. The more you know, the better you will do no matter what. In the position with Lou, I didn't know hardly anything. I didn't really understand the inventory processes way 25 years ago. I didn't understand sales and marketing very well. I didn't understand a lot of those back-end aspects. I could do everything in the front of the house better than almost anybody in there. Again, I did it so long, but once you get in the back and you're changing up to a management position, you've got to be able to grasp all of that. If you're going about and being a eBay reseller or a reseller in general, and you don't understand some aspects of it, you don't know more about the business, your own business, than the people you are working with, such as eBay, you will miss things. A real good example of that is not knowing, say, how the feedback policies work. If somebody puts something specific in a certain feedback or some stage that you followed through with and somebody still left you a feedback, in some cases, just knowing the policy policy, and stating that to an eBay rep will get those sorts of things removed. The majority of all negatives or anything like that that I've ever gotten, I've had removed because the other person didn't know how the policies worked. That's just a given. That's why you must know more than the other guy. It's just all across the board. If you're a salesperson, you've got to know what drives the other person, the other people that you're trying to sell items to. What key factor do they have to have? What are they looking for when they're out there? So if it's an eBay buyer, a potential buyer, what is he looking for? Do you know what your customers want? Do you know why the majority of your business is sold to a certain group of people? Many people are totally unaware of that. You are missing what they know, which is they may be buying something for the wrong reason than you think. They may be buying an item because it's vintage and it has the same last name as them, a family member worked there, or any type of thing like that, whether it's a book, a figure, a statue, a mug, a piece of clothing. All of that can come into play if it's vintage, collectible especially. Or if it's new, let's say they're buying something for a business. You may be missing the entire reason somebody's buying something and not be able to take advantage of that because you just don't know. Good example with eBay would be reaching out to those folks and making sure they like the item and just ask, curiosity's sake, what made you buy that item that day? You may be shocked at what they say and totally get your business going in a different direction. When I started reselling, I never ever had a plan back in the day when I first got into this. It was just a way to make money. But these days we've got a plan, a market strategy, a business plan for every single thing we do. Again, and we still try to learn more as we go by. The only way I have been so successful and been able to keep advancing this again is to keep knowing more than my competitors. As I get bigger and better at what I do, so do my competitors. So I have to keep up on what they are doing. Those people that I have to sell against, those little competition on eBay with the same type of item, in some cases even maybe the same basic item. You've got to be able to display your item better than them. Know how to produce a better picture. Again, knowing more than them. Knowing how to produce a better picture than them, a better title than them, better keywords than them. That'll get you to the top better than anything else. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you will make. I promise you it works that way. Working smarter is always better, but it is a hard job no matter what you do at it. So if you're just working just to get by or just to get some money coming in and you're not trying to improve your knowledge on it, you're kind of fighting yourself because other people will pass you by. They will do better than you. They will pick up better techniques than you. They will have better rapport with potential buyers than you. They will have return customers. Repeat business drives many of our sales. It's not something that happened overnight. It's me reaching out and knowing more than my buyers. I know my side and their side, not just one-sided. If you know what they want, you know what they're looking for, you know their tastes, you know their routineness. Like I've got some that buy from us every 2 weeks. I've got some that buy from me every Friday when their paycheck comes in and they pay their bills. These are things that help me know when to have certain things up. Again, my competitors won't know that. They don't have that rapport with the customers, their buyers that they're dealing with. Most people will just send it out, hope for a good feedback. Most people won't reach out when they're new or don't have all these connections to make some sort of personal connection with those people that buy from you. You'll be surprised at how much more you can get out of just reaching out to somebody, thanking them, and asking them if there's anything else you can do. You list stuff all the time, and you'd be happy to pull certain inventory and list it for them to look through if they wish. Don't ever offer to buy anything off the site, of course, but you can tell them that you will list stuff on eBay for them and to check back. There's a lot of different things that you could do that the majority of your competitors are not doing. I talk to people all the time. Nobody hardly goes and reaches out to see why people are buying specific items. Many times it literally may just be the last name, and I have other items with that same last name on it from the same city, from the same business, and I can list those immediately and garner a whole bunch of sales to that person right off the bat. No sense in waiting on things like that. Again, these are things that you have to learn. You have to know more than the other person. If you're not learning more, you're not reaching out trying to figure out more things, every little aspect of your business, the other guy is, and they are working 10 times harder than you, and they will surpass you. They could even cut into your sales because everybody else would want to buy from them. It's a competition to some extent over knowledge and experience is the key to this. Just like when you're first starting out, a lot of people know more than you. You need to close the gap between the knowledge that you have and the knowledge the other folks have. You need to dig into it. You can't just be complacent and expect this to all roll in and you will eventually get it. When I wasn't listing, sourcing, or anything else when I first got into this, I was trying to see what my competitors were doing, trying to see the markets in this area or that area, looking into retail, FBA, retail arbitrage, all types of other areas. So if I can't find something, say for eBay reselling, I can find something FBA. I can find a bunch of different areas. Those are just knowing more than my competitors. If my competitor only sells on one site and I figured out 2 or 3 sites, they may only be able to sell certain things on that site. But by me knowing all the other platforms, the other avenues to sell things, I am far better off because I can buy things that they can't sell on certain platforms and then sell them on the alternate platforms that we are on. So it's an overall picture. Again, the best thing I can tell everybody, the best advice I ever got in my entire life is knowing more than the other guy. Plain and simple. I'll give you one last example for sourcing. If I go to an auction and I know more about the items there, I am more in a position to be able to bid more on those items, take them at a higher price, bid on the items that they aren't familiar with or that they just don't have a clue on. Many times when you're at an auction like that, you may not be able to look up some of those items. They may be very scarce, and if they don't have that knowledge, but you do, you can scoop in and get things for almost nothing. That's why a lot of the merchandise that I personally buy, I pay almost nothing for, because the people that I'm buying it from, I know more than them, whether it's what they're worth or where's the best place to sell it. So those are all key things, but it all again comes down to knowing more than the other guy. But that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gives you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Where illusion is the ultimate weapon.
Convert switchblade to jet mode. Surprise, Mac Tracker. It's mayhem. Battle station. Protect the decoder, Bruce. I'm going up. Stacks ready to fire.
Mask, Switchblade, Thunderhawk, and Rhino.
Fire!
Each sold separately with action figure.
Cover me, Matt. 10-4. Sato's getting away. But you're not, Mayhem.
Mask, Switchblade, Thunderhawk, and Rhino. Each sold separately. New from Kenner.